When you look at this lens, you probably think, oh look, another cinema lens. But you would be wrong. Finally, there's a lens manufacturer out there that has listened to the people that use their lenses, and maybe, just maybe, this is a glimpse of what the future holds for camera lenses. This is one of the 3 new lenses from Siriui's Vision Cinema line. This one in particular is the 50mm, however we will be discussing aspects of all 3 lenses that they have released. We're going to be discussing whether these lenses will continue to deliver the incredible colour reproduction that we know and love from other Sirui lenses. Is there any crazy need to know problems about these lenses, which you would expect from a line of lenses at this price? And finally, the thing that made me go, damn, I hope this feature is as good as they make it out to be. Because if it is, this could be a huge shift in third-party lens manufacturers. So this is one of the 3 lenses that have been released from Sirui. This one is the 50mm and it has its largest t-stop at t1.4. So this lens is incredibly useful when it comes to darker situations which you could find yourself shooting in. Them kind of situations where you have little to no control over the lighting. However, as you would expect, something to be aware of is when you get to t1.4, the depth of field is incredibly shallow. And you can use your typical circular filters on this lens because this lens has a filter thread of 67mm. The 2 other lenses in this range at this moment in time is the 24mm and 35mm, both of them at t1.4 and again with a 67mm thread. And these lenses very much remind me of the Lumix Prime lenses that they have, and that's because all of the Lumix Prime lenses are very similar in size and weight. These Sirui lenses are around 11cm long and weigh around 600 grams each. But why is that such a good thing? Well, if you're using these on a balanced rig, let's say on a DJI gimbal, so once you've got your camera and your lens balanced on your gimbal, you can easily switch out that lens for another one in the line, and you know that it's going to be pretty much balanced, and if it's ever so slightly out, it isn't going to really matter because the motors can take a little bit of weight if needs be. It just makes the workflow so much easier. And for those of us out there who likes our gear to look visually appealing, these lenses are available in 2 different finishes. You've got the options of black, which is the one that I have, and you also have a metal grey finish if you wish. If you want my opinion between the 2, I prefer the black on the website. However, seeing the metal grey finish in person, I can see the appeal. And these lenses aren't set at a bad price. To be fair, they are pretty affordable in comparison to many other cinema lenses, especially cinema lenses within the Sirui lineup. These lenses are currently $649 each, or $1,899 if you wanted to buy the full set of 3 at once. But because these lenses are more affordable, does that mean you're going to sacrifice something such as image quality? Or perhaps these lenses just hit the spot really nicely? Do they meet the grade to deliver the nice, rich, vibrant colors that we know that other Sirui lenses can do? So I've only used the 50mm alongside my Sony a7S Mark III. We'll just cut to the chase. None of it disappoints. I think I can speak for a number of Sony users to say that not all of us are 100% happy with the image we get from our Sony camera. Don't get me wrong, it's good and it's constantly getting better, but there's always room for improvement. However, what I will say is from using different lenses on my Sony cameras, it's very much down to the lenses that you choose to use rather than the camera itself. Because when I've used Sirui lenses in the past with my Sony cameras, it's always got my image looking a lot more how I would really like it to be, whereas when I've used Sony lenses, it's never been 100% there. And this 50mm is no different. Very nice, beautiful colors, a nice amount of contrast that is retained when backlit, but it's still very natural looking. And the footage you're seeing right now is the footage straight out of camera in S-Log3 with just a correction LUT on it. So hopefully this will allow you to make your own balanced judgment. One thing I will add to this is the bokeh. It's pretty much as smooth as you would want it to be. It's not quite your typical smoothie, creamy bokeh, I guess you could say, but it's more airy. I don't really know how else to describe it, but it's got some really nice character. And most likely the 12 aperture blades inside this lens play a big factor in that. Most of the footage that you're seeing in this video was not shot at t1.4 because one, quite frankly, I don't trust my focusing skills, but we'll come to that later on. But also when you stop down a little bit, it allows you to see the character that them aperture blades gives you. However, when you do shoot wide open on any lens, that's when you start to see problems in your image if it is going to be there. For instance, chromatic aberration. This 50mm in particular perhaps has a little bit of chromatic aberration, but you definitely have to zoom in and start pixel peeping to see anything. From just looking at the image, there's nothing that really stands out as being problematic. And what we have to remember at this point is, in the grand scheme of things, these lenses are definitely classed as budget lenses in comparison to the massive amounts of money you could spend for other cinema lenses out there. And some of them more expensive cinema lenses will come with many more visual problems than what these lenses do. And it's a similar situation with the focus breathing. I couldn't really pick anything out or notice any of the focus breathing from the 50mm as such. Truly, this lens gives you a very nice, clean looking image, which you can then take and add your own vibe to with whatever you wish. As for the sharpness and general focusing of this lens or these lenses, the image you get from this lens is soft and yet sharp. And I don't know if that really makes sense, but I'll try and explain what I'm thinking in my head. When you're using lenses on a camera, people want the focus to be on point and everything to look really nice and sharp. But if you watch any of the best camera settings here on YouTube, a lot of people, especially with Sony cameras, they go into the settings and change the sharpness down to -7. That's because we want our image to be in focus, but not necessarily crazily sharp, not clinically sharp. Digitally sharp could be a good way of putting it. We still like the image to look a little soft. And these lenses help deliver that nice soft cinema look while still having a sharp image. And these lenses give you that really nice soft image while still maintaining the focus of your subject. And to help you, and especially me when it comes to manual focus, these lenses all come with a 270-degree focus throw, meaning that you have a lot more room to maneuver and dial in that focus, especially when your subject gets a lot closer to your lens and you may be wanting to shoot wide open. I'll be honest, I'll be the very first person to hold my hand up and say manual focus is definitely not my forte. But these lenses would make a perfect pairing with systems like the DJI Focus Pro, especially if you're using a Lumix camera. And that is where these lenses get really interesting. And maybe this is a glimpse of what Sirui may start implementing in their future lens releases. Inside the box for each of these lenses, you get this wallet which contains 3 other mounts. And when combined with the mount that already comes on the back of the lens, it allows this lens to fit cameras that use RF, FE, Z mount, and L mount without the use of additional adapters or even changing the focal length or the T-stop. All you need to do is unscrew the 4 screws in the back of the mount, grab the one you need to use for your camera, and screw it back into place. It takes perhaps 2 minutes, meaning that rental houses, if they were to buy these lenses, would only need 1 lot of these lenses, let's say, rather than 4 lots. But also, if you're like me and you have a few different cameras such as Sony and Lumix, or perhaps you have one type of camera system but you may change to something else in the future, these lenses are still going to be able to be used. There's no need to use any shims or anything like that in the back of the lenses, and the only tool you need comes in the box with the lens. Seriously, I really hope we get to see this implemented on other lenses in the future. The form factor, the weight, the quality, the adaptability, and for the price, is this the future of camera lenses? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you like the look? Have you already picked some of these lenses up, or are you looking to purchase these lenses now? If you are wanting to make a purchase, then you can save 5% with the link down below and just enter BLY5 at checkout. Every little helps, right? And if you want to check out any of the other Sirui lenses that I've reviewed recently, then you can watch these videos right here. I'll see you real soon.